What if I told you that one person's fingerprints are all over some of the most iconic sounds of the late 90s and early 2000s? Not just one genre, but pop, rock, electronic, even classical, all woven into a tapestry of music that defined an era. And yet, when we hear about legendary producers, we rarely pause to think about how they shape not just hits, but entire cultural movements. That's the story of William Orbit, a man who died last month at 69, and whose work feels like a time capsule of musical innovation. Let me tell you why his passing feels like losing a secret architect of the sounds we still can't get out of our heads. Here's something that always fascinates me. The way producers like Orbit don't just make music, they create emotional landscapes. Take Madonna's Ray of Light, the album that revived her career and won 3 Grammys. To most people, it's a pop record, but dig deeper and you'll find ambient techno, trip-hop, and electronic textures that feel like a sci-fi dreamscape. Orbit didn't just produce it, he engineered a sonic revolution that made Madonna sound less like a diva and more like a prophet of the digital age. And yet, how many of us even think about the producer when we hear that album? It's almost like we're conditioned to overlook the invisible hands behind the magic. Now let's talk about Blur, the Britpop band that defined a generation, right? But here's a twist. Orbit helped them pivot from their cocky, guitar-driven roots to something darker, more introspective. Their 1999 album 13 is a case study in reinvention. Tracks like Tender and No Distance Left to Run feel like they were written in a different universe. One where Britpop wasn't just about rebellion but vulnerability. And yet, how often do we credit the producer for that shift? It's wild to think that the same man who gave Madonna her most spiritual album also helped Blur confront their own shadows. That duality in his work is what makes him so fascinating. Then there's the sheer audacity of his solo work. Pieces in a Modern Style wasn't just a record, it was a manifesto. Blending classical motifs with electronic beats, it felt like a bridge between 2 worlds that were supposed to be incompatible. And yet, it was critically acclaimed. Why? Because Orbit didn't just experiment, he made it feel inevitable. He had this rare ability to take disparate elements and make them cohere into something that felt both new and timeless. In my opinion, that's the mark of a true visionary. But here's the thing. How many producers today have that kind of fearless ambition? We're so caught up in algorithms and trends that originality feels like a relic. What also stands out to me is the way his collaborations transcended genres. He worked with Pink on Feel Good Time, a track that somehow managed to be both anthemic and intimate. With All Saints, he crafted Saints and Sinners, an album that felt like a love letter to the 90s pop landscape. Even his work with U2 on Electrical Storm had that signature Orbit touch, layered, atmospheric, and full of tension. It's like he had a sixth sense for what made a song resonate across cultures and decades. And yet, we're so quick to label artists as genre-defining, but rarely give producers the same reverence. It's almost like we're trained to ignore the people who make the music possible. If you take a step back and think about it, Orbit's career is a masterclass in adaptability. He wasn't just a producer. He was a chameleon, a shapeshifter who could make any artist sound like their best self. But here's the deeper question. What does his passing say about the state of music production today? Are we losing that kind of holistic, boundary-pushing creativity in favor of efficiency and formulaic hits? I'll leave you with this. The next time you hear a track that feels like it's from another dimension, take a moment to think about the invisible hand that made it happen. Because in a world that's constantly chasing the next big thing, people like William Orbit remind us that sometimes the most revolutionary music comes from those who dare to think outside the box, and then build an entire universe inside it.